They use targets of OAC. They use targets of Whitmer.
Let me
a mile from here. They string them up on a string and they shoot at the targets. I've seen them.
Mm-hmm. Let me continue. They go a little bit further into this article where they're talking about Representative Alyssa Slotkin. Member Merrick Smith suggested the Slotkin, quote, should be burned and raped, end of quote. Joe Hackett, whose main Facebook image is a handgun, wrote, quote, off with her head, end of quote. Mike Repke responded, quote, she needs to be hung in the streets for treason, end of quote. This is what you get from conservatives,
This
folks.
is what you should expect. No surprise here.
We've told you about Alan Berg in the past, the liberal radio host in Denver back in the 80s who got on air and started ripping on the skinhead groups, and he got murdered in his driveway. That's what you expect from conservatives. This is what conservatives do. They bully, they threaten, they'll take action.
No exceptions.
Yeah, not a one. When you get to this level of hatred, you can guarantee that it's going to escalate even further into action.
Can we put some accolade on this journalist that blew this thing wide open?
Yes, Steve Neveling. He is fantastic, and he's blown a lot of stuff off at Detroit Metro Times.
Okay, now I'm not as familiar with the story as you are. I have read it, but I'm wondering, in what procedure did he just start pursuing information? Do you have any insight into this?
I do not know if he was tipped off to this or what exactly happened. Probably received a tip. Hey, you need to take a look at this Facebook group. I can't believe what they're posting in here. And they documented all of this before. Well, they took screenshots before the page was taken down.
Is this group, what's it called, Metro Times?
Detroit Metro Times.
Is it particularly progressive, or it's just a responsible?
They're considered muckrakers. They are into responsible journalism, and they've blown the lid. Detroit Metro Times was the one that blew the lid off of, I forget what township it was over on the east side of the state, where they were handing out badges like candy that we talked about on this show. You donate $5,000, you get a badge, you get a bulletproof vest, etc. Yeah, Kid Rock was one of them. That's what we got there. That came from Detroit Metro Times.
Well, our praise and support for this kind of journalism.
This is the kind of journalism that's needed very badly these days. So if you want to read the entire article, we have it posted to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Southpaws Radio Show. So this story gets into our next winner for Douchebag of the Week. And one of the members of that group that we told you about happened to be State Senator Peter Lucido, who is a Republican out of Shelby Township. So he was asked about this by reporter Allison Donahue at the Michigan Advance. This is what she wrote, and this is her words. I waited outside the Michigan Senate chamber to ask Senator Peter Lucido, Republican Shelby Township, on Tuesday for a comment about the Detroit Metro Times story reporting that he was a member of a violent anti-Governor Gretchen Whitmer Facebook group, which has since been deleted. What was meant to be an opportunity for Lucido to respond to the report turned into him making comments that objectified and humiliated me in front of a group of young boys. After the Senate session ended and the chamber cleared out, a line of about 30 boys from Lucido's alma mater, De La Salle Collegiate, an all-boys Catholic high school in Warren, stood in front of the Senate doors. I asked Lucido for a moment to address the issue at hand, and he told me he would catch up with me after he was finished honoring the group of students. As I turned to walk away, he asked, quote, "You've heard of De La Salle, right?" End of quote. I told him I hadn't. He told me, quote, "It's an all-boys school," end of quote. He then continues, quote, "You should hang around. You could have a lot of fun with these boys, or they could have a lot of fun with you," end of quote. The teenagers burst into an old boys network type of laughter, and I walked away knowing that I had been the punchline of their locker room talk. Except it wasn't the locker room. It was the Senate chamber, and this isn't high school. It's my career. By the way, she's 22 years old. She's one of the youngest current Capitol reporters. So this Lucido, in front of this group of raging hormone teenage boys, says, you should hang around. You could have a lot of fun with these boys, or they could have a lot of fun with you. What do you take that as, Jack?
Again, it's just symptomatic of the Republican MO. That's how they operate. You sexually insult this media person, which, again, the media is deserving in the Republicans' mind of any ridicule, any insults, and anything you can throw at them.
Mm-hmm.
They're the least respected. And unlike what we just talked about, the Metro Times doing things beneficial, it's listed in the Constitution, the media as it's the only thing listed as a safeguard and a fundamental part of democracy. You have to have a media. And the first and foremost trait of totalitarianism and a fascist state is, guess what? Eradicate the media.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about disagreeing with the media. We're talking about having no media. In its place, you have a state media, but you do not have a spectrum of media. You have a unilateral media. So it's fair game to a Republican, especially a woman. You can say and do anything that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to continue here.
Reminds me of Trump's comment about to the one journalist. Was it a journalist? It was, wasn't it? That there's blood somewhere in her when she was interviewing. It was in a debate.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but yeah, I remember that.
It was carried publicly.
Her blood was coming out of where.
That was in a debate.
Yeah.
Any place else?
No, it wasn't a debate. It was at a rally, and I think it was right here in Grand Rapids.
I think there was a couple of them. He used the blood term.
Yeah. Let me continue. So a little further on, Lucido returned to this reporter after about 30 minutes, and she asked him about the Metro Times report, which she got the answer from. Actually, I'm going to skip around and we'll do that. Here's what Lucido had to say about the Facebook group that he was a member of. Quote, my involvement was 6 videos that were posted regarding the issues of vetoes. In addition, the fact that people talk crap back and forth on that page, that's their crap, not mine. If those people are talking cowardly and inciting violence, then they should be dealt with accordingly. But don't lump anyone in with a group of people. Otherwise, you never gave them a chance. End of quote. Lucido added that he also does not condone any violence of any kind. Mm-hmm. Real quickly, some of the other Republican congressional candidates that were a member of that group include Mike Detmer, Alan Hoover, and Earl Lackey, retired Livingston County Deputy Sheriff Dave Lohr, Michigan GOP Field Director Kip Welch II, and numerous state and local employees.
So you gather around the governor of the state, and you manifest hatred, you threaten bullets between the eyes. Are you kidding me? This is the late stage of Trumpism.
It certainly is.
You know, they rate cancer, what, level 5, level 4? Well, you see this is level 5, absolute totalitarianism. That means he can't do anything wrong, and his opponents can't do anything right. And their answer is eradication. It's hatred. It's not to listen. It's to take over in a bullish manner, dominate, intimidate, and it's getting worse.
Yep. So after she got the comments from him about that Facebook group, she then said, with her voice shaking admittedly, she said this, quote, I also wanted to make a comment. I thought the comment that you made was unprofessional in front of the group of boys, saying that I would have fun with them. I don't know what you were insinuating, but...
I think I do.
And then he cut her off before she could finish. And he responded, quote, De La Salle, I went there, and it's an all-male school, and any time we had dances, we had to invite the girls over for dancing or socializing. It's very awkward for a lot of these boys. So if you took it any way other than that, the fact that they have Regina School and all-girls school get together, they do this, and they have dances, and they have social days. It was awkward for me when I went to college and I first met a woman. I didn't even know how to act around a woman. End of quote.
He still doesn't.
Apparently not. Her response was, quote, "Yeah, I was just saying I'm at work, and you wouldn't have said it to any of my male colleagues or anyone who presented to be older than I am," end of quote. But he assured her that it was nothing personal. This is just how he talks to young women. Here's what he said, quote, "I said it to an all-girls school last week. How would you like to have all the boys from the Senate come over? It was nothing disingenuous. It was no harm," end of quote. Well, apparently, once the story hit the mainstream media, he had to issue a half-hearted apology. By the way, State Senate Leader Mike Shirkey is now investigating Lucido for these comments.
That sounds great on the surface. I don't know how deep Shirkey's going to go, but
no, this is the same Mike Shirkey that called Gretchen Whitmer just a few weeks ago batshit crazy.
Yeah, that's my point. This is asking the criminals to investigate the burglars.
Exactly. Yeah, just like Watergate, just like the Senate hearing with Trump.
Mm-hmm. Don't allow any information. Get your troops in. Let them talk. Put the gavel down.
Yep.
On injustice.
And
again, stage 5.
It is. We're at end stage. We really are. This is not hyperbole, folks.
Yeah.
Listen, and then
go
ahead.
The Statue of Liberty, the mother figure of justice and so forth, is looking for a good hospice place right now. From what I understand.
Yep.
Because it's almost over. I mean, I'm not exaggerating.
I know you're not. Neither am I.
You get up in the morning and it doesn't go away. It gets worse. It's a nightmare. This show has done everything to portray this for months. We predicted we would get to this level. We kept saying, imagine what it'll be 6 months from now. And it was exactly correct. It was so much worse. No leveling off. Nothing getting better. Mm-hmm. It's got to come to a head.
Yeah. Something else that came to a head is winner number 4 this week, Senator Elizabeth Warren, or as I am now going to refer to her on this show as Lying Liz.
I like it. It's
and
good christening.
And if I have listeners that don't like it, feel free to turn off this show. I don't want you as a listener. I want progressives, actual progressives.
She called Bernie out for calling her a liar. Here's the liar. I saw it on her form when she filled out for her bar registration. She gave her address. This is in New York. Down below, it said nationality, and there it is, plain as can be. American Indian.
Mm-hmm.
She's no more Indian than your cat you took to the vet today. She's not an Indian. She politically gave that lie out. That's been a foundation of her lies. She's a liar. She's a flat-out liar, and now she's desperate. She's got to assassinate Bernie. She's got to try and save herself because she knows the numbers are going down.
Yeah. This has been backfiring big time. But
we hear that, but is there let's look 2 days from now. Is it going to be a bump? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, this is all backfiring. In the last 2 days, Bernie Sanders has raised over $4 million over the last 2 days. This was reported last night. 25,000 new donors, new people who have never donated to Bernie before, donated in the previous 48 hours as of Wednesday night.
Cause and effect from the debate?
I would say so.
Pretty clear, I think, yeah.
People are fed up. People are starting to smell the bullshit around here, and they're not having it anymore.
And you get rid of the fake progressive named Elizabeth Warren, Bernie stands out as the unilateral leader that he is.
Mm-hmm. They're not having it. And here's the thing. I'm going to read this. Sean King, who does fantastic journalism work, posted this on his Twitter page on January 13th. Wow. Just spoke to a source who told me that Elizabeth Warren admittedly embellished the words of Bernie Sanders to her friends after her meeting with him in 2018, saying that Bernie said a woman couldn't win, but that he never actually said those words. Disgusting. He continues. Also, I reconfirmed with every outlet saying they confirmed their story that Bernie Sanders said a woman couldn't become president, that not a single one of them spoke to Warren. One journalist said Warren was going around telling friends, embellishing new details every time. He continues,